For those that don't know, Day 1 DLC is DLC that's available from the launch of the game. Now, a lot of DLC normally comes out a few weeks after launch, or even like a few months afterwards, after everyone's finished the game. But recently, Day 1 DLC has been cropping up a hell of a lot. I know Evolve had some when it started, and I know Battlefield Hardline had some. And a lot of people are on the fence. A lot of people are like, well, we've got some extra bits to put onto the game and we don't have to wait, because there are a few people who will get a game and they'll complete it within a day or two, a few days. Like, they will fly through, and they'll occasionally sometimes go back through for the collectibles and that, but a lot of people will do it. They'll fly through the single player just to say they've done it, and then they'll move on to the online. For example, Call of Duty, I will play through the story, and then once I've done that, I'll then go straight on to the online. Now, a lot of people are like, well, that's great, because, I fly through games really quickly, and I want some extra to have at the end, especially for, like, DLC. I want to buy, like, the newest maps and stuff, this, that, and the other. And a notable example of someone who does DLC well is, like, Call of Duty. It brings out the game, you finish it, you play your multiplayer for a bit, a few months down the line, bam, here's some new DLC, new maps, and all that, and that's great. That's DLC done well. The problem with Day 1 DLC is, a lot of the time, essentially you're paying for the rest of the game. You'll play through the game, and, you'll enjoy the story, and, it's kind of alright. There's a few bugs and everything, but that's to be expected from a game at launch. You get through, like, with the bare minimum, and then there's, like, an extra bit of DLC you can download that essentially finishes off the game. A lot of the time, the DLC will have, like the developers will give you a game and be like, there's your game, and you go, yeah, it's cool, it does what it says on the tin, not very well or anything. Then they go, well, we've actually patched out most of the issues and everything, but that's in the DLC. Sometimes the DLC, for Day 1 DLC, it's just skins and everything. It's nothing that dramatically changes the game. Like, you could quite happily play through the game and then go on online or something and have a whale of a time. Great, you've got your money's worth from the game. Some of it, though, for example, Battlefield Hardline had Day 1 DLC, but it was almost pay to win in the way that they did it. In that it's like, you buy the game, pay an extra tenner when you buy it, and you get some golden battle packs and stuff, which unlock, like, skins and crap like that. You can get them in-game. They're nothing, game-breaking. But then there was, like, 3 new guns you could get. I think one was for Assault, Support, and Engineer, or something like that. And now, I don't know how good these guns are, because I haven't played with them. But a lot of people were upset by them. Because normally, you pre-order a game or something, you get the fancy edition, you get some extras with it, don't you? Worth your money. But then they're available to everyone else who got the normal edition later on, at like a certain price or something. Or, you get them, and for example, Call of Duty, you can pre-order a game and get these 2 fancy guns, but they're not amazing. They're not going to change the game. They're just a different version of a gun that's probably already in there. The way Battlefield did it, the way EA did it, well, like, here's, 3 new guns. Like I said, I don't know if they were amazing. I don't know if they were just as good as the guns in the game. But the way they did it is, right, you've paid this extra tenner, you've got these things that give you a head start, you've got your guns, good for you. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, don't worry, because, in a few weeks' time or something, the guns that are actually going to be put into the game anyway, what would you do? And EA were like, no, if you didn't pay the extra £10 on buying this game, you are not getting these guns. We're not going to bring them in as DLC. You're not going to be able to buy them off the store. You're not going to be able to buy them in-game. If you didn't get this edition, you will not get to use them guns unless, for example, you kill someone with a gun and then use his gun for a bit, but then obviously that resets when you die. And a lot of people were pissed at this because EA have gone out of their way to design these, weapons and things, and then they've gone, right, no one else can have these, make sure they're in, like, the deluxe edition or whatever, and then we'll make some guns later on. And I say pay to win, I don't know if they were any better than like what you get in-game. They might be better, they might be on par, Who knows? But knowing EA, they're probably pretty good guns. And the reason it's damaging is because a lot of people will buy it anyway. They'll kind of see it as the lesser of two evils. They're like, well, I wouldn't mind trying the guns, you know, I've got the extra bit of money to spare, I'll buy it. And then developers look and go, actually, yeah, we can get away with this day one DLC crap. And then you've got a lot of people who are like, no, I'm buying the normal game, and I'm going to enjoy it, and then I'll have the DLC. The main argument I have is, you know, day one DLC, you'll get the game, it'll play like shit. It will just not run properly. You'll have loads of errors with it and everything, or, you know, it'll play, but it won't be the best it can be, and they're already throwing DLC at you. My argument is, why don't you finish the game, make sure the game's like the best that could possibly happen, and then bring out the DLC? Because the DLC, like, sometimes it adds on extra levels and stuff, sometimes it's just skins and everything. But for example, when it's like extra, you know, an extra level or something like that, like a bonus level or something, then, you know, they've spent time making that and things, and really they should have just put that in the game anyway. If they're going to spend extra time making this stuff, put it in the game, make sure the game's finished, make it beautiful and everything, like Call of Duty do, and then you can quite happily bring in extra maps and things a couple of, you know, months down the line, but not as soon as the game has released, and when it releases in such a sorry state that it's in. Now, a lot of us are really happy with The Witcher 3 because it comes with DLC, and everyone's like, fucking hell, what's this DLC? But it's all free. There's 16 DLCs planned, and they are all free. They're like, here's the game, it's finished to perfection, we'll quite happily patch any problems that come out when it's released, have absolutely fuck tons of fun with it. Don't worry, we've got some DLC for those who fly through it. And everyone's like, holy fucking shit, yes. Like, a lot of us don't even mind if we had to pay for that DLC. Maybe if it was, you know, 16 DLCs. Maybe if it was just like 5 or 6. We'd quite happily pay for them. But they've gone, no, you can have like a fuck ton of DLC. Some of it is just like extra costumes or weapons or extra missions and shit. Some of it is rather large, where it's like new areas and new mounts and things like that. But it's still all free. They've gone, right, we've set ourselves a deadline. We will make this game by then. We will give it to you. And now in our, you know, with all the money that we've probably made off the game, we're going to make the DLC. Or they're probably just making the DLC now. So when it comes out, you're fine. And even if it was day one DLC, it's going to be free day one DLC. And you know, we hope that the game is going to be finished like 100%, and then you get the game. It's when they release the game and it's full of errors and everything, and you feel you're only really paying for 80% of the game, and then you've got to fork out for like another 20%, 10% of the game just so it feels finished. And it's shit, essentially. It's kind of all I have to say on it. If you disagree with me, feel free to leave it down in the comments. If you agree with me, feel free to agree with me. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, you know, share the video with your friends and see what they think on it. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos, make sure to subscribe. See you all there.